Restaurant staff mocked the homeless veteran until the owner saw his service dog. The rain started at noon and hasn't stopped. November in Portland, Oregon. The kind of cold, relentless rain that seeps through everything: coats, shoes, skin, hope. The kind of rain that reminds you that warmth is a privilege, not a right. Rosario's Italian kitchen sits on the corner of Burnside and Third, a beacon of light and warmth against the gray. White tablecloths, candles and wine bottles. The smell of garlic and fresh bread drifting through the door every time a customer enters. Inside, it's busy. The lunch rush is in full swing. Business people from the towers downtown. Couples celebrating anniversaries. Families with children who don't know yet how lucky they are to be dry and fed. Outside, pressed against the building's overhang to escape the worst of the rain, a man sits with his back against the brick wall. His name is Marcus Cole, 47 years old. He wears an army field jacket that's seen better decades, olive drab faded to gray, patches fraying at the edges. His jeans are wet from the knees down. His boots have holes that no amount of duct tape can fix. His face is weathered, bearded, lined with years of exposure to elements both natural and man-made. His eyes are the color of winter sky, pale, distant, watching everything and nothing. Beside him, pressed against his leg for warmth, is a German shepherd. The dog's name is Sergeant, 8 years old, black and tan, with a graying muzzle and intelligent brown eyes. He wears a red vest, though the lettering has faded from years of wear. If you look closely, if you bother to look, you can still make out the words, service dog. Marcus hasn't eaten in 2 days. The soup kitchen on Morrison closed last week. Budget cuts. The shelter on Glissant is full. The usual spots where people leave food have been empty, probably because of the rain keeping everyone inside. He's not panhandling, hasn't held a sign, hasn't asked anyone for anything. He's just sitting here, trying to stay dry, trying to figure out where to go next. Sergeant hasn't eaten either. Marcus gave him the last of the kibble yesterday morning. When Sergeant looked at him with those trusting eyes, Marcus had to look away. The dog never complains, never whines, just stays close, keeping watch, doing the job he was trained to do. Some jobs never end. Inside Rosario's, the lunch service is humming. Elena Vasquez is the assistant manager. 28 years old, 3 years at Rosario's, working her way up from hostess. She's efficient, professional, the kind of employee who keeps the place running when things get busy. She's also the one who notices the man and dog outside. "Great," she mutters to Tony, one of the servers. "Another one." Tony glances out the window. "He's been there since I got here, at least an hour. He's scaring away customers. I saw a couple cross the street to avoid walking past him. Want me to call someone?" "No, I'll handle it." Elena grabs a menu, not to give him, but to have something official looking in her hands. "Watch the front for me." She pushes through the door into the rain. The man looks up as she approaches. His eyes track her movement the way soldiers track movement, automatically, instinctively. The dog doesn't move, just watches. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to move along. I'm not bothering anyone. You're on our property. You're making our customers uncomfortable. I'm sitting against a wall. I haven't spoken to anyone." "Sir," Elena's voice hardens. "This is a private establishment. If you're not a customer, you need to leave." The man is quiet for a moment. Then he reaches into his jacket pocket. For a terrible second, Elena tenses, but he only pulls out a small, battered wallet. He opens it, shows her what's inside. A military ID. Expired. The photo shows a younger version of the man in front of her, clean-shaven, eyes sharp and focused. "I'm not looking for trouble," he says. "Just trying to stay dry. When the rain stops, I'll go." "I'm sorry, but 10 minutes, that's all I'm asking." Elena looks at the ID, at the man, at the dog who hasn't moved, hasn't barked, just watches with those calm brown eyes. She should feel sympathy, she knows that, but all she feels is irritation. The lunch rush is at its peak. She has tables waiting, and now she's standing in the rain arguing with a homeless man. 5 minutes, she says. Then you need to move. She goes back inside. Doesn't look back. What Elena doesn't see is the tremor in Marcus's hands as he puts his wallet away. The confrontation, brief as it was, has triggered something. His heart is racing. His vision is narrowing. The sounds of the street are becoming muffled, distant, replaced by other sounds. Helicopters, gunfire, screaming. Sergeant knows the signs. He's been trained for exactly this moment. The dog shifts position, pressing his body firmly against Marcus's chest. He puts his head in Marcus's lap, applying deep pressure. His weight is grounding. His warmth is real. "Easy," Marcus whispers. To himself, to Sergeant, to the ghosts that never quite leave. "Easy. We're okay. We're here." It takes 4 minutes for his heart rate to return to normal. 4 minutes of breathing exercises learned in therapy sessions he can no longer afford. 4 minutes of focusing on the dog's fur beneath his fingers, the rain on the pavement, the present moment instead of the past. When it passes, Marcus is exhausted. The episodes always leave him drained, like he's run a marathon while sitting still. "Good boy," he tells Sergeant. "Good boy." The dog's tail wags once, twice. Then he settles back into position, eyes still watching the street, still on duty. Some jobs never end. Inside the restaurant, the lunch rush continues. Tony is serving table 12 when he glances out the window again. He's still there. Elena looks up from the register. "I told him 5 minutes. It's been 15. Great, now I have to go back out there. Want me to call the police?" Elena hesitates. The man didn't seem dangerous, didn't seem aggressive, just tired. And something about the way he held the military ID. "No, I'll handle it." But before she can move, the front door opens. An older woman enters, shaking rain from her umbrella. Silver hair, elegant coat, expensive watch. She moves with the confidence of someone who's used to being noticed. "Mrs. Rosario," Elena says, surprised. "I didn't know you were coming in today." Sophia Rosario is the owner, 73 years old. She opened this restaurant with her husband in 1987 and ran it alone after his death in 2015. She doesn't come in much anymore, lets the managers handle day-to-day operations, but when she does, everyone pays attention. I had some paperwork to pick up. Sophia looks around the dining room with the practiced eye of someone who's spent 50 years in the restaurant business. "Busy today?" "Yes, ma'am. The lunch rush has been steady." "Good, good." Sophia starts toward the back office, then pauses, turns. There's a man sitting outside with a dog. Elena braces herself. "Yes, ma'am. I've already asked him to leave. He hasn't. That dog is wearing a service vest." Elena stops. "I didn't notice." The man is clearly a veteran and clearly in distress. Sophia's voice is calm but carries an edge. "And you asked him to leave?" "He's making customers uncomfortable. He's a human being, in the rain, on a day when no one should be outside." Sophia hands her umbrella to Elena. "I'm going to speak with him. Have the kitchen prepare 2 meals, whatever the special is, and a bowl of water." "Mrs. Rosario, I really don't think—" "Elena." Sophia's voice doesn't rise, but it doesn't have to. "My father fought in World War II, my brother in Vietnam. My nephew did 3 tours in Iraq. That man out there served his country. The least we can do is to offer him a meal." She pushes through the door before Elena can respond. Marcus sees her coming, an older woman moving carefully over the wet pavement. No umbrella, getting rained on like it doesn't matter. He starts to stand, habit drummed into him by years of military courtesy. But his legs are stiff from sitting, and the movement is slow. "Please don't get up." She reaches him, looks down with eyes that are surprisingly sharp for someone her age. "I'm Sophia Rosario. I own this restaurant. Ma'am, I was just leaving. My manager made a mistake. I'm here to correct it." Sophia lowers herself, carefully, arthritis protesting, onto the wet pavement beside him. Just sits right down on the concrete like it's the most natural thing in the world. Marcus stares at her. "Ma'am, you're getting wet." "I'm old. I've been wet before." She looks at Sergeant. "May I pet your dog?" "He's a service animal. Usually you shouldn't, but may I?" Marcus hesitates, then, "Sergeant, friend." The dog's posture changes, relaxes. He sniffs Sophia's offered hand, then allows her to scratch behind his ears. "Beautiful animal. How long have you had him?" 6 years. Got him when I came back." "Came back from where?" "Afghanistan. 3 tours." Sophia nods slowly. She doesn't say, "Thank you for your service." The phrase that's become so automatic it means almost nothing. She just nods, acknowledging. What's his job, Sergeant? He helps me with... Marcus struggles for the words. I have PTSD. He's trained to recognize when I'm having an episode. Helps me come back. Come back from where? From the war, the one that's still going on, in my head. Sophia is quiet for a moment. The rain falls around them, but she doesn't seem to notice. My brother came back from Vietnam in 1970, she says. He was never the same. Couldn't hold a job, couldn't maintain relationships, drank himself to death by 1985. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be here. That's what I'm trying to say. She turns to face him fully. You're still here. That means something. Marcus doesn't know how to respond. It's been so long since anyone talked to him, like he was a person instead of a problem. I'd like to offer you a meal, Sophia says. You and Sergeant, inside, where it's warm, no strings attached, no expectations, just food. I didn't ask if you could pay. I asked if you'd accept a meal. Marcus looks at her. At this 73-year-old woman sitting on wet concrete in the rain, offering kindness to a stranger. Why? Because my brother died alone. Because my nephew came back from Iraq and needed help that he was too proud to ask for. Because you're sitting outside my restaurant in the rain and I can't walk past that. She pauses. And because your dog hasn't taken his eyes off you for a single second. An animal that loyal deserves a good meal too. Marcus feels something crack inside him, something that's been held together with wire and stubbornness and the desperate need to not fall apart. Okay, he whispers. Okay. Inside the restaurant, heads turn. Sophia walks through the door with the homeless man and his dog. She's soaking wet, her silver hair plastered to her head, her expensive coat ruined, and she's smiling. Elena, is table 8 available? Mrs. Rosario, that's... Elena stops. Table 8 is in the back corner, semi-private, usually reserved for important guests. Is it available? Yes, ma'am. Good, our guest will be dining there. Sophia turns to Marcus. This way, please. The walk through the restaurant feels infinite. Marcus is aware of every eye on him, every whispered comment, every head that turns. His wet boots squeak on the polished floor. Sergeant's nails click against the tiles. A woman at table 4 pulls her purse closer to her chest. A man at table 6 mutters something to his companion. A child points and asks loudly, Mommy, why does that man smell funny? Marcus's vision starts to tunnel. His heart rate spikes. The sounds of the restaurant blend into a roar that sounds too much like the roar of... Sergeant presses against his leg, hard, grounding. Marcus breathes, keeps walking, makes it to table 8. Sophia pulls out a chair for him. Sit. The food will be out soon. I should clean up first. I'm getting everything wet. The chairs will dry. Sit. He sits. Sergeant positions himself under the table, pressed against Marcus's feet. Sophia sits across from him. Tell me about yourself, Marcus, if you're willing. How did you know my name? I saw your military ID when you showed it to Elena, through the window. You were watching? I notice things. It's how I've survived this long. She leans back. So, tell me. The story comes out slowly, in pieces. Marcus Cole, born in Detroit, joined the Army at 18 because he didn't know what else to do. Discovered he was good at it, the discipline, the purpose, the brotherhood. 3 tours in Afghanistan, rising through the ranks. Sergeant first class by the time he was 32. Then the IED, 2016, outside Kandahar. I was the only survivor, Marcus says. His voice is flat, mechanical. 6 men in that vehicle. I was in the turret. The blast threw me clear. Your injuries? Traumatic brain injury. Shrapnel in my back and legs. Lost hearing in my left ear. He pauses. The physical stuff healed. Mostly. It's the other stuff that doesn't heal. The PTSD. I see their faces. Every night, I hear the blast. I smell the... He stops. Can't continue. Sergeant whines softly under the table, pushes his nose against Marcus's ankle. When I got out, I couldn't function. Couldn't hold a job. Couldn't maintain an apartment. The VA was backed up. Months of waiting for appointments. Years of waiting for disability claims. By the time they sorted it out, I'd already lost everything. What about family? Ex-wife. She tried. But you can't live with someone who wakes up screaming every night, who disappears for days when the episodes get bad, who can't walk into a crowded room without having a panic attack. He shakes his head. I don't blame her. I'd have left me too. Children? A daughter. She's 17 now. Haven't seen her in 4 years. She sends letters sometimes to a P.O. box I had. I don't know if she still does. I couldn't afford the box anymore. Sophia listens without interruption, without judgment, just listens. The dog helps, Marcus continues. Sergeant. He was trained specifically for combat veterans with PTSD. The VA program that matched us, it was the only thing that worked. What does he do? He senses when an episode is starting before I do. Something about heart rate, breathing, smell. I don't know the science, but he alerts, gets my attention, applies pressure, gives me something to focus on besides the memories. And without him, I'd be dead. More than once he stopped me from... Marcus can't finish, but Sophia understands. He saved your life. He saves it every day, just by being here, just by needing me to take care of him. Marcus's voice cracks. That's the thing about dogs. They don't care if you're broken. They just love you anyway. Under the table, Sergeant's tail thumps once against the floor. The food arrives, 2 plates of lasagna, steaming hot, a basket of fresh bread, a large bowl of water, and a plate of unseasoned meat for Sergeant. Marcus stares at the food like he's forgotten what abundance looks like. Please, Sophia says. Eat. He picks up the fork. His hands are shaking, not from PTSD this time, just from hunger and emotion. The first bite is overwhelming, rich, warm, nourishing. He has to stop himself from crying. When did you last eat? Sophia asks gently. 2 days, maybe 3. I lose track. And Sergeant? Yesterday morning, I gave him my last food. Marcus looks at the dog, who is carefully eating the meat from his plate. He always eats first. That's the rule. You take care of him before yourself. He takes care of me. It's only fair. Sophia watches him eat, watches the color slowly return to his face, watches the tremor in his hands gradually still. Marcus, I want to offer you something, more than a meal. Ma'am, I can't accept... You can, and you will. Her voice is firm. I have a building, 2 blocks from here, apartments above a storefront that's been vacant for years. One of those apartments is empty, has been since the last tenant moved out 6 months ago. I can't afford... I'm not asking you to pay, not now. Sophia leans forward. I'm asking you to live there, to have a roof over your head, to have a place where you and Sergeant can be safe and dry. Why would you do that? Because my brother died alone in a VA hospital in 1985, and I wasn't there. Because my nephew came home from Iraq and almost ate his gun, and he was saved by a therapist who gave him a chance when everyone else had given up. Her voice wavers. Because I'm 73 years old, and I've spent too much of my life walking past people who needed help. Marcus is silent, processing, overwhelmed. There's one condition, Sophia says. What? You let me help you, really help. Not just a roof, but connecting with services, getting your VA benefits sorted, maybe finding work when you're ready. She meets his eyes. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering a partnership. You have value. You have skills. You just need a foundation to build on. I don't know how to, neither do I, but we'll figure it out, together. She reaches across the table, places her hand over his. What do you say? Marcus looks at her hand, at the food on the table, at Sergeant, who has finished his meal and is watching them with those intelligent brown eyes. Okay, he whispers. Okay. The apartment is small but clean. 1 room, a bathroom, a kitchenette. A window that looks out onto the street where people walk by, living their lives. Marcus stands in the doorway, unable to move. It's not much, Sophia says, but it's dry, it's warm, it's yours. I don't know what to say. Say you'll take care of it and yourself. She hands him a key, metal, solid, something he can hold. There's food in the cupboard, basic supplies in the bathroom. The heat works, I had it checked last week. She pauses. I wasn't sure I'd find anyone to give this to, but I was looking. Looking for what? Someone who needed it. Someone who deserved it. She looks at him. Someone like my brother could have been, if someone had helped him sooner. Marcus takes the key. His hand is trembling. Sergeant pushes past him into the apartment, sniffs around, checks the corners, the closet, the bathroom, doing his job, making sure the space is safe. Finally, the dog returns to Marcus, sits at his feet, tail wagging. He approves, Sophia says. He's a good judge of character. Then trust his judgment. She moves toward the door. I'll check on you tomorrow. There's a phone on the counter. It's connected, basic service. My number is on a card beside it. If you need anything, Mrs. Rosario. Sophia, please. Sophia. Marcus's voice breaks. I don't understand why you're doing this. Sophia pauses in the doorway, turns back. Do you remember what you told me about why you take care of Sergeant first? Because he takes care of me. It's only fair. Exactly. She smiles. Someone took care of me once. When I was young and alone and had nothing. Now it's my turn to pass it on. She leaves. The door closes. Marcus stands in the middle of the apartment, holding a key, looking at a space that's his. His. For the first time in 3 years, he has a home. He sits down on the floor. There's furniture, a bed, but the floor feels safer somehow, and Sergeant curls up beside him. And Marcus Cole, who hasn't cried since the day 6 men died in a blast that should have killed him too, finally lets go. The weeks pass. Slowly, carefully, Marcus begins to rebuild. Sophia connects him with a veteran service organization that helps him navigate the VA system. His disability claim, which has been pending for 18 months, is expedited with the help of a pro bono lawyer the organization provides. He starts seeing a therapist who specializes in combat PTSD. It's hard, reliving the memories, talking about the things he's buried. But Sergeant is always there, a warm presence against his leg, a reminder that he's not alone. The nightmares don't stop, but they become less frequent, less overwhelming. Progress isn't linear, his therapist tells him. Some days will be harder than others. The goal isn't to eliminate the pain, it's to learn to live with it. Marcus learns, day by day, step by step. One afternoon, he's walking past Rosario's Italian kitchen when Elena steps outside. She looks different now, less harried, more uncertain. Mr. Cole? Marcus stops. Sergeant stops beside him. I wanted to apologize for how I treated you that day. She can't quite meet his eyes. I was wrong. I made assumptions based on how I looked, I know. It's not an excuse. I should have been better. She finally looks at him. Mrs. Rosario told me about her brother, about why she helped you. I didn't know any of that. Most people don't ask. I know, and I'm sorry. She hesitates. I've been volunteering at the Veterans Center on Morrison. Saturday mornings. I don't know if it helps, but it helps. Marcus's voice is gentle. It always helps. Elena nods, looks at Sergeant. Can I pet your dog? Marcus considers. The old rules, don't touch a service animal, don't distract them, are important. But Elena isn't trying to distract. She's trying to connect. Sergeant, friend. The dog's posture relaxes. Elena kneels, strokes his head. Sergeant's tail wags. He's beautiful. He's the best friend I've ever had. Elena stands. Mrs. Rosario says you're doing well, that the apartment is working out. It is, better than I could have hoped. Good, that's good. She pauses. If you ever want to come in, for a meal, it's on the house, always. Thank you, Elena. She goes back inside. Marcus watches her go. Progress isn't linear, but it's happening. 2 months later, Marcus gets a letter. The return address is a high school in Michigan, his daughter's school. His hands shake as he opens it. Dear Dad, I don't know if you'll get this. I've been sending letters to your old P.O. box, but they keep coming back. I found this address through some veteran organization that helped me search. I'm a senior now. I got accepted to Michigan State. I want to study social work. I want to help people like you, I guess. I know we haven't talked in a long time. I know things were hard. Mom told me some of it, but I also did my own research. I understand better now what you went through, what you're still going through. I'm not angry anymore. I just miss you. If you want to, I'd like to see you again. I have spring break in March. I could come to Portland, if you want. I love you, Dad. I always have. Emma. Marcus reads the letter 3 times. Then he sits on his bed, letter in hand, and stares at the wall. Sergeant jumps up beside him, puts his head in Marcus's lap. She found me, Marcus whispers. She's not angry. Sergeant's tail wags. Marcus picks up the phone, dials Sophia's number. Sophia, I need your help with something. Anything? My daughter. She wants to visit. I want to be ready. I want her to see that I'm doing better, that you're worth everything, Marcus. You always were. He can't speak, just holds the phone, holds the letter, holds on to hope. March arrives cold and wet, typical for Portland. Marcus waits at the airport, Sergeant at his side. He's wearing clean clothes, donated but clean, and he's shaved for the first time in months. He looks almost like the man in his old military ID. Almost. The arrivals board flickers. Flight 1247 from Detroit has landed. His heart is pounding. His palms are sweating. All the symptoms of an episode, but this isn't PTSD. This is just fear, regular human fear. Sergeant presses against his leg, grounding. I know, boy. I know. The doors open. Passengers stream through. And then he sees her. Emma is 17 now, tall, like her mother. But she has his eyes, winter sky, pale and watchful. She's scanning the crowd, searching. She sees him. For a moment, neither of them moves, 4 years compressed into a single instant. Then Emma is running. She crashes into him, arms wrapped around him, holding on like she'll never let go. Dad! Dad! I'm here, baby. I'm here. They stand like that for a long time. Father and daughter, broken and healing, lost and found. When they finally separate, Emma is crying. So is Marcus. You look different, she says. Good different or bad different? Good, definitely good. She notices Sergeant for the first time. Is this him? The dog you wrote about? This is Sergeant, friend. Emma kneels, lets Sergeant sniff her hand. Then she's hugging the dog too, her face buried in his fur. Thank you, she whispers. Thank you for taking care of him. Sergeant's tail wags furiously. The week passes too quickly. Marcus shows Emma the apartment, the neighborhood, the restaurant where Sophia gave him a second chance. Sophia invites them both for dinner, cooks for them herself, her mother's recipe, passed down through generations. Your father is a good man, Sophia tells Emma. He's been through things most people can't imagine, but he's still standing, still fighting. I know, Emma says. I've always known. Later, walking by the waterfront, Emma asks the question Marcus has been dreading. What happened, Dad? Really? Not the version you told Mom. Not the official report. What happened? Marcus is quiet for a long time. Sergeant walks beside him, alert to his changing emotional state. We were on patrol, standard route. We'd driven it 100 times. His voice is flat, the survival mechanism that lets him talk about it at all. The IED was buried in a culvert, remote detonated. They waited until the whole vehicle was over it before they triggered it. And you survived. I was in the turret. The blast threw me clear. I woke up 20 feet from the vehicle. Fire everywhere. Smoke. Screaming. He stops walking. Emma stops beside him. I tried to get them out. I was injured. Didn't know how badly, but I tried. The vehicle was on fire. Ammunition was cooking off. I could hear them, some of them, calling for help. Dad, I couldn't save them. I tried and I failed and they died. His voice breaks. 6 men. Men I was responsible for. Men who trusted me to keep them safe. Emma takes his hand, holds it tight. That's what I see every night. That's what I hear. The screaming. My own voice screaming back. The sound of the fire. He wipes his eyes. The therapist says it's survivor's guilt. That it wasn't my fault. That I did everything I could. But it doesn't matter what she says. I know I failed them. You didn't fail them. Emma, listen to me. Her voice is fierce. You survived. You're still here. And every day that you keep going, every day that you fight to get better, that honors them. That's not failure. That's courage. Marcus looks at his daughter, at this young woman who has somehow grown up wise and strong and compassionate. When did you get so smart? I learned from my dad. She squeezes his hand. The one who taught me that real strength isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up. Marcus pulls her into a hug, holds her, cries. And somewhere, in the part of his mind where the ghosts live, something shifts. The screaming doesn't stop, but it becomes quieter, less overwhelming. Not forgiveness, not yet. but something that might, with time, become peace. On Emma's last day, they visit Rosario's together. Sophia has prepared a special meal. The staff, even Elena, welcome them like family. "I have something for you," Marcus tells Emma. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small box. Inside is a medal, bronze, with a purple and white ribbon. "Is that—" "My Purple Heart. They gave it to me after the attack." He places it in her hands. "I've been carrying it around for years. Never knew what to do with it, but now I do." "Dad, I can't. I want you to have it, not because of what it represents about me, but because of what you represent to me." He closes her fingers around the medal. "Hope, the future, a reason to keep fighting." Emma is crying. "I don't know what to say. Say you'll come back. Say you'll call. Say you won't give up on me." "Never." She holds the medal to her chest. "Never, ever." They embrace. Sophia watches from across the room, tears streaming down her face. The broken pieces are coming together. Not fixed, never fixed, but held together, strengthened by the cracks. Marcus Cole continued his recovery one day at a time. He got a job, part-time at first, then full-time, at the Veterans Center on Morrison, the same place Elena volunteered. He became a peer counselor, using his own experience to help others navigate the maze of PTSD, homelessness, and readjustment. "You know what they're going through," his supervisor told him. "That's something no training can teach." He knew, he remembered, and he used that knowledge to help others. Sophia Rosario became a grandmother figure to both Marcus and Emma. She insisted on hosting Emma every school break, feeding her Italian food and telling her stories about the old country, about Marcus's progress, about the unexpected family they had all become. When Emma graduated from Michigan State, both Marcus and Sophia were in the audience. Marcus was wearing his dress uniform, taken out of storage, cleaned and pressed, medals on his chest for the first time in years. "I'm proud of you," he told her after the ceremony. "Your mother and I both. We're so proud." Emma hugged him. "I'm proud of you too, Dad, for getting better, for staying. Sergeant helped. I know, but you helped too. You chose to fight. You chose to live." Sergeant passed away on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 years after Marcus moved into the apartment. He was 11 years old. He died peacefully, at home, with Marcus beside him. Marcus buried him in a corner of Sophia's garden, under a rose bush that bloomed every spring. "He was the best of us," Marcus said at the small ceremony. "Better than I deserved. He saved my life 1,000 times, and I couldn't save his." Sophia took his hand. "You gave him a good life, a purposeful life. That's all any of us can ask for. It's not enough. It never is, but it's something." Marcus got another service dog eventually, a yellow lab named Corporal, but there was only ever one sergeant. 10 years after the day Sophia found him outside her restaurant, Marcus stood at a podium in Washington, D.C. The occasion was the dedication of a new memorial, a wall honoring service dogs who had served alongside military and law enforcement personnel. Thousands of names etched in granite, including sergeants. "These animals gave everything," Marcus told the crowd. "They asked for nothing in return except our love, and they saved more lives than we will ever know." He looked at the wall, at Sergeant's name, at the names of countless others. "I was homeless once. I had given up. I was ready to disappear. And then a dog, and a woman who saw what others didn't see, gave me a reason to keep going." He turned to the crowd. "If you see someone struggling, a veteran, a homeless person, anyone, don't look away. Don't cross the street. Don't assume you know their story. Ask, listen, help if you can." He paused. "That's what Sergeant did for me. He didn't judge. He didn't evaluate. He just loved. And that love saved me." In Portland, Rosario's Italian kitchen still stands on the corner of Burnside and Third. Sophia passed away 5 years after the dedication ceremony at the age of 88. She left the restaurant to Elena, who had become like a daughter to her. And on the wall near table 8, the table where Marcus had his first real meal in days, there's a photograph. An old man in an army field jacket, a German shepherd in a red vest, a plate of lasagna between them. Beneath it, a plaque reads, "In memory of Sophia Rosario, who saw what others overlooked, who helped when others walked past, and who reminded us that kindness is the bravest thing we can offer, Every Veterans Day, Marcus comes back to that table. He orders lasagna. He feeds a piece to whatever service dog is beside him, and he remembers. Remembers Sophia, remembers Sergeant, remembers the rain-soaked day when a woman sat down on wet concrete to talk to a stranger, and changed everything. Maybe that's what compassion really means, not grand gestures or heroic sacrifices, but the simple act of seeing, of recognizing humanity in someone the world has decided not to see, of sitting in the rain with a stranger, of offering a meal to someone who hasn't eaten, of trusting that every broken thing can be mended if only we have the courage to try. History forgets the noise. It remembers the silence that followed,